the Buffalo Bills came back from the dead last season, losing to the likes of the New England Patriots in New England, where we're like, oh, Buffalo, good team. They shouldn't lose to someone as bad as the New England Patriots, especially because you've struggled against the Patriots your entire career. But no, still losing games you shouldn't to the New England Patriots against Mac Jones, I believe, was playing in that game still, and you lost to Mr. McEnroe himself. And then you go out there. The only opportunity you had to beat the Kansas City Chiefs the first time you faced them at home ever. And then you're like, okay. Then you had idiots like Jason McIntyre on the herd, like, I think the Buffalo Bills could actually blow out the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, really? You think they could blow out the Kansas City Chiefs? And then you have Stephon Diggs, probably not the happiest player in Buffalo because he's in Buffalo, and then he and Josh Allen have gotten a little farther away, and then you sign Von Miller to a bunch of money, which is hampering your cap right now. When they signed Von Miller, we were both like, no, don't do that. He just won his Super Bowl. He's looking for a stupid team to pay him, and I'm not saying that Von Miller won't be productive in the regular season, but he's had injury issues. I don't think he will be that guy again in his career that he was in LA and Denver. So the Buffalo Bills have a lot to figure out this offseason. Is Stephon Diggs going to want to stay or go? And then Gabe Davis is still your number 2 at wide receiver. That's not good. And then you've had some injuries throughout on defense last year, has been banged up for the past 2 years. And then Sean McDermott, as your head coach, is on the hot seat coming into this year. Should be one of the hotter seats in the NFL, especially if you have another disappointing division round upset. But at least they have a lot of cap space, right?
No, they have the worst cap space situation in the NFL. It once was the Saints, but they figured things out to some extent. They have negative $41 million in cap space. Some of the notable contracts include Josh Allen's contract setting in, guaranteeing him $30 million and a $47 million cap hit. Stephon Diggs with a $28 million cap hit. Von Miller with a $24 million cap hit. Deion Dawkins with a $16 million cap hit. Tre'Davious White with $16 million. And the list goes on and on. Now, what are some ways, you might ask, that they can cut cap space? Well, the number one thing, and what seems to be pretty likely, is trading Stephon Diggs potentially. Stephon Diggs is not happy. He wants to go somewhere else, it seems, based on reports, based on our sources, the most best sources in all of football. And then who could they cut potentially to save some money? Well, it's not very easy here. You have people like, you could save $10 million cutting Deion Dawkins, but that gives you $6 million dead cap. You could cut potentially someone like a Tre'Davious White, not ideal. Mitch Morse, you could save, $8 million there. Rasul Douglas, he looks like he's on his way out. They'll save $10 million cutting him. But we're talking about a team that has cap hell. Who could they potentially restructure? You could restructure Josh Allen's deals, clear up $23 million. Deion Dawkins, maybe $12 million. But these are all guys who just recently got their contracts. Maybe they don't want to restructure their deals. And I'll pull up the free agents here. Some players they have to consider re-signing, but just thoughts on their contract situations to this point.
How is a senior citizen your second biggest cap hit? This is why we're like, signing Von Miller isn't going to fix the Bills. If anything, down the road when Josh Allen contracts kicks in, it's going to make you a worse overall team when it comes down to it, because he's had some injury issues here, hasn't been available for playoff games, and hasn't been the difference maker that they were looking for. The Bengals had one of the worst offensive lines in the league, and in that playoff game, they could not touch him. Patrick Mahomes with no wide receivers against Sean McDermott's great defense. Yeah, the number 1 defense in the league. Sean McDermott, one of the best defensive coaches in the league, couldn't get anything done. Like, kind of in cap hell. I think trading Stephon Diggs will help, but can Buffalo draft a wide receiver? And have they actually ever drafted an elite wide receiver in the modern NFL era? And the answer is probably not.
No, I can't think of anybody notably, at least. Free agency wise, they're going to lose Micah Hyde, most likely. He's getting older, so maybe that's not the biggest loss. Leonard Floyd, he'll be available. He's a free agent. Jordan Phillips. So some players on their defense could also lose players like a Latavius Murray. You could see Daquan Jones there. Punya Ford, who stepped up for them. So a lot of players on the defensive side of the ball. Not as
Yeah.
many free agent problems as the Dolphins necessarily, but a similar situation where you're paying all these massive contracts to aging stars.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's obviously very young, but Stephon Diggs is in his 30s now. Von Miller, he was drafted with Cam Newton, if that tells you anything. So very old player there. And a lot of these players, like you see how they've performed the last couple of years, they've had their window, and it feels like their window is starting to close a little bit. They're going to need to make some big changes. If there's a way that they can trade Stephon Diggs for another elite star who's on their rookie deal, maybe there's some hope. But Stephon Diggs isn't happy. His contract is approaching. He is also getting older, and we saw how he regressed, or at least didn't play the greatest down the stretch the last 9 games. So the Bills, a little nervous about them. They still have Josh Allen, so I'm not going to completely erase them from winning that division by any means, but
Yeah.
a lot of holes on their defense they're going to have to hit in the draft.
Yeah, with the issues with the Miami Dolphins, I could definitely see the Bills still winning that division depending on the health of Aaron Rodgers and what the Jets do this offseason. However, you mentioned if the Bills can trade Stephon Diggs for a star on his rookie deal, but what team would want to trade for Stephon Diggs, a star on their rookie deal, because they also have to make the cap situation work as well for them. So
Yeah.
you probably have to get some similar contracts back or of equal value at least to make it work both ways, because that's how it works with trades. You have to add some players in for salary cap reasons, and they're not just going to take Stephon Diggs off of your hands, who is now 33 years old. That's a pretty old wide receiver. I know he's in his 30s right now, maybe not
I think
33.
he's 32.
He's 32, which is still pretty old for a wide receiver. I know Larry Fitzgerald was the ageless wonder, but we've seen him start to tone it down. Not be a top 10 wide receiver, but he hasn't been a guaranteed bona fide top five wide receiver over the past couple years here now. So there's not just going to be a team who's like, yeah, sure, I'll give you my star for Stephon Diggs. Like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, so where do you see Stephon Diggs potentially going if they were to make that trade? Because I imagine he's going to want to be paired with either his brother, if Dallas can make it work, or somewhere in Texas. I know he's from Texas, so maybe Houston's a team that they look at, or maybe he wants to go somewhere in Florida potentially. But it ultimately comes down to, do the Bills want to move on from him? Because Stephon Diggs is still valuable, but their cap space situation is a mess right now.
Yeah.
And there are some key players that you maybe want to bring back. So the Bills, the cap space, they figured it out last year to some extent. But for them, like, I would try to look at someone like a Von Miller. Can you get out of that deal potentially?
Y-
I'll look at the contract again for him, but this is something where I don't know if I fully trust the ability for them to turn things around nearly to the
Yeah.
level that they did.
Yeah, they don't really want to get rid of Von Miller either, which is the problem, because the Buffalo Bills still do very much believe in Von Miller. There's chatters in the building about how they believe that Von Miller can get back to his old self. And even if that is the case, there's no real moves that you can make with this cap situation where you get past the divisional round. You're not going to beat a team like the Houston Texans. You're not going to beat the Bengals. You're not going to beat the Chiefs. So if you can avoid all three of those teams and get lucky, you may potentially be able to compete with the Indianapolis Colts next season, if Anthony Richardson isn't healthy. But other than that, it's like tough break for the Buffalo Bills. And I think when you're paying a quarterback that much, this is why Brady was the GOAT, is because he knew how to make the salary cap situation and take that discount. And it's not really normal for a quarterback to not have a top 10, 15 wide receiver and still be as productive as someone like Tom Brady was. And I think with Josh Allen too, it's like they made an adjustment last season where they contained his errors a little bit and moved more run heavy. So if you can become a run dominant team and trade Stephon Diggs and potentially hit on your wide receiver in the draft, then we're in business. And I think Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox will be a good 1-2 punch there. But if you keep Stephon Diggs, you still have a lot of work to do on defense.
Yeah, I agree. And they have to also figure out if they want to keep Gabe Davis, which, if your number two is going to be Shakir, otherwise, I don't know. I think maybe sign him, maybe I don't even know if you should franchise tag him. Like, maybe sign him to a 1-year deal, but I don't know. Buffalo, Dolphins, both teams who have a lot of questions to make. For the Bills, can they get younger somehow?
Yeah.
If they were to trade Von Miller, they could free up $17 million, less of a dead cap hit than Stephon Diggs. But I don't know if they want to do that, especially with some of the players they're going to miss on defense. So the Bills, a lot of trouble.